So welcome back to Left versus Right. It's another week. Anthony Weiner on the left, Dominic Carter on the right. Dominic, let's get right into it. It was a very, very heavy week in New York news. Anytime a police officer is taken, it is tragic. Jonathan Diller, he died a hero. He's a 1-year-old at home. Anything to add about this? I mean, it was a horrible day. We're going to get to the subway horror that happened that same day. I saw someone refer to this as the bad old days are back, but anytime an officer falls in the line of duty, it is tragic. And in this case, to the suspect, this guy Rivera, he apparently, the best you can call him, is a career criminal. This is someone who was even reported had a shiv inserted somewhere in his body in case he got arrested.
It sounds like you have a new tune, Mr. Weiner.
Oh, I don't think you can accuse anyone of ever liking it when a police officer is struck down. But we can talk a little bit about the policy, but I wanted to give you a chance to say.
But you sound like me. Because I've been telling you for the last 5 weeks how out of control crime is, and every week you basically mock me and basically say, what world are you in? And it sounds like you're finally coming around to my way of thinking.
Well, I was going to give you an opportunity to say some nice things about Jonathan Diller and how every police officer is in a way a hero when they go out on the streets.
Of course.
But let's talk about, if you want to talk about some way we could have prevented this crime, I think there is no way to make the streets completely safe. Every police officer knows that. We all police officers, when they walk out on the beat, their family acknowledges to some degree they might not come home. No crime. Any crime is too many crimes. We're never going to get to zero crimes. But look, the guy is behind bars. He's going to go away probably if he's convicted for the rest of his life.
That's disgusting, Mr. Weiner. First of all, it's absolutely horrible what Democrats did. This officer, just a few hours ago, was his funeral. Right? As you mentioned up top, 1-year-old child, his wife, Stephanie. And what did Democrats do? You weren't Democrats. I'm not saying you. Democrats were not here going to the wake like Trump did. Democrats were here saying, show me the money. It's disgusting. What is going on with the Democratic Party?
All right, well, you're referring to the fact that the same day there was a big fundraiser for Joe Biden. He brought in $25 million. But Donald Trump, when he's on the plane to go to the wake, sent out a fundraising email around this. That's disgusting, too.
Okay, but didn't Trump attend the wake? Didn't Trump spend time with the family?
Totally did. I give him credit for that.
And where was the okay, so are you willing to criticize the president of your party for how he handled this?
No, I don't think the president should go to disrupt. The president and all this involved should go to a wake for a fall, and it could be completely disruptive. I give Donald Trump's a private citizen. He has nothing else to do.
He has nothing else to do.
I give him credit.
He's the leading candidate in the race for the White House.
I give him credit for going. But Donald Trump, there were 171 line of duty deaths of police officers in 2019. How many did Trump go to?
You really don't want to.
The answer is zero. You're the one that raised Joe Biden, I'm comparing president to president. So if I believe I give Trump credit for going. Now there were some police unions that said to some political officials, we don't want you to go to the wake and to the funeral. We think that your policies, people like the speaker, I think the head of the sergeants union said we don't want the speaker of the city council going.
Right.
But I mean,
the Sergeants Benevolent Association is correct. We can come back to that. But so Biden doesn't want to inconvenience traffic. And
presidents can't go to every fallen officer. I mean, that's a tragedy.
So I guess the White House telephone was not working. Or the phone on Air Force One.
Listen, it is an unfortunate. There were hundreds.
I guess the phone wasn't working.
Let me explain. There were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of fallen officers during Donald Trump's time in office that didn't get visits to their wakes, did not get phone calls, did not get acknowledged at all. I am much more concerned. I wonder, has Donald Trump called any of the officers that were attacked on January 6th?
I don't know.
The answer is no. Not only that, he said he wants to pardon the scum that attacked those police officers. So don't give me tough on crime when you're Donald Trump, when you are the leading offender and the leading cheerleader calls heroes to people that attack police officers on January 6th. You saw the videos of police officers getting maced, getting knifed, getting overrun and beaten, and Donald Trump calls those people prisoners.
So the President of the United States cannot attend this officer's wake, even though he's in town to walk away with $25 million with his other Democratic presidents. And so he doesn't do that, but he does make a video for the funeral of the young man that was killed in Minneapolis.
Well, let me ask you this question.
So that's right.
I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask you the question.
So you're just going to ignore what I just said?
No, it's going to be clear from what I say next that I'm responding to you.
Okay.
So you're the president of the United States. You have hundreds of fallen officers throughout the year, unfortunately. Many of them to the hands of guns. Okay. If you're the president or you're the president's advisor, do you say go to every wake?
No, but what I do.
Of course not.
But what I do say,
and you can't choose one and then say, well, this one's more important than the other.
But what I do say, if I'm the chief of staff, as you just said, you do say Trump is going to meet there with the family right now. It does not look good, Mr. President, that we're in town for the ATM called New York City to raise $25 million.
Right. That's what Republicans always talk about, how it looks. I'm talking about, practically speaking, when you're the president of the United States. Look, Donald Trump was president of the United States and incited a riot where police officers were attacked. And not only did he not say to those people, don't do what you're doing, but now he's saying, I'm going to pardon the people that attacked the police officers. A lot of people could be tough on crime. Donald Trump is not one of them.
Anthony. First of all, I'll come back to whether Trump is tough on crime. Because the way Democrats are pandering to the black community for the black vote is disgusting.
How? What are you talking about?
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
How does it pander to the black? There have been black officers that have been killed.
No, what I'm referring to when the young man that was killed, the police incident in Minneapolis, Democrats bending over backwards.
Minneapolis in 2020, is that the year you're talking about?
Yes, Democrats bending over backwards.
We're in 2024. There are a lot of outrageous people that have been killed by police officers. That's not what we're talking about here today.
Every week, Mr. Weiner, you sit up here and you say there's no crime problem. You say essentially...
You're the one that said they're pandering to blacks because
Democrats do pander to the black community. It's disgusting.
Okay.
Because you're not helping the black community.
What does that have to do with the tragic death of Jonathan Diller?
Why? It has a lot, because if Democrats were not kissing the rear end of the black community, we would have law and order as we should have.
I don't even think that the suspect in this case was even black. I don't even know what you're doing. You will not be able to find a black citizen in America who thinks it's a good thing that Jonathan Diller was killed. What are you talking about?
What I'm talking about, Mr. Weiner, is the Democrats keep pandering. And as a result of pandering, the community...
Black Americans want lower crime, Dominic.
Yeah, of course, black Americans.
So how does it pander to what are you talking about?
Because
do Democrats.
Okay, so Mr. Weiner, let's just look at what happened. On one day, you have the police shooting, the fatal shooting of a police officer. You have a man pushed again.
Are we going to do the subway next? You want to switch to that now?
Wait.
I'm willing to
let me
if you
just
want
finish.
to.
You have a man pushed in front of a subway. An unhinged man did it again. We have another man who's going around throwing scalding hot water in people's faces, and he's smiling for the cameras. And let's not forget the women, which predominantly are almost all white, that are being punched in the face by some African-American suspects, and you're basically saying that there's no crime.
No, I think it's disrespectful to Jonathan Diller's memory to conflate all these things together. Let's give Officer Diller of blessed memory, let's give his moment here.
Okay.
We can move on to the issues of EDPs pushing people off subways. We're going to do that next. I'm not running away from that issue, but let's let this issue happen. I agree with you that politicians pander. I believe it's just as much of a pander to get on a plane, send out a fundraising email, go to a wake, and then do nothing to stop, to say I want to defund the FBI like Trump says, to say that the people that beat up cops at January 6th were heroes. That's the worst kind of pandering. What Joe Biden did in his time in the Senate, he passed with my help the cops program to get more federal funds to come to cities like New York for cops.
Weiner,
and by the way, Republicans oppose that.
I give you credit. You're a loyal Democrat. Well, are they going to give you an ambassadorship or something? Because you are towing the party line no matter what the destruction is to America. We are going down as a country, and you're sitting up here talking this Democratic crap.
I do not talk down. I don't talk down my country like you guys do. That's true. I talk up my country. We live in a great country. Police officers in this deserve to be protected. But when it gets politicized, I'm going to call it out.
What is it going to take for you to admit that your party is wrong on crime?
Wait a minute. We want more money. We want more money for
officer that was his funeral just a few hours ago. He would be alive right
100%,
now if not for Democratic politics.
Okay, now Tane saying the suspect, this guy, Guy Rivera, who's being held now and will probably go to prison for second-degree murder for the rest of his life.
What does
is
it
from
good
Democratic.
that this scumbag is going to jail now?
I 100% agree with you. But what you do this every week.
A rap sheet of
Dominic,
21 arrests.
You've done this every week. Democratic policies, and I will pause now, listeners, as I ask Dominic for what Democratic policy led to this death.
I'm glad.
What Democratic policy led to this death?
Soft on criminals.
Wait, so that's not a policy. That's a slogan. What policy?
No cash bail.
What? This guy was not.
Arrests.
This had nothing. This guy's held on bail. Anything else?
Okay, wait. What about his 21 arrests?
Listen, a career criminal is a career criminal, and that's horrible. But what Democratic policy led to it?
I just told you no cash bail.
He's not out on bail, Dominic.
Okay, but prior to this incident,
he never got out on no cash bail.
If this scumbag had been kept in jail, that officer would be alive with his 1-year-old child today.
But what Democratic policy stopped that from?
No cash bail.
That's not a policy that keeps people in prison.
Andrew Cuomo, Governor Hochul, Andrea Stewart-Cousins.
You point to no cash bail in suspect Guy Rivera's background.
Policy?
It's not anything to do with this case. You do this every week.
Okay, so wait,
you never connect. Here's what you fail to do every week.
Weiner,
you fail to connect the actual policy to the thing that happened.
Mr. Weiner, so how did he get out of jail 21 times?
The guy went to jail for a certain amount of time and then was released. That happens all over the country all the time. We don't hold everyone forever.
Okay, what about the
I would love for this guy to have been in jail.
What about the guy in Brooklyn that shattered the Latino woman's face? As we speak, she's talking and eating through a straw, and he was released less than hours after he shattered her jaw. What about that? That's a Democratic policy.
Why don't we go back to last week where you said that every shoplifter should be held, and you wouldn't even tell me for how long or for where or for how much money?
And I do.
If you believe,
guess what?
If you believe,
let me be very clear.
And by the way,
let me be very clear.
And there's more crimes going on in Republican places all over the country.
Let me be very clear. You mentioned shoplifters.
Yeah.
Let me double down. You damn right they should be held. Something has to give. You can't
how many
keep
years?
letting Mr. Weiner.
Yeah, make the Republican policy. How many years?
Mr. Weiner.
For a shoplifter.
Mr. Weiner, it should be, first of all, it should be up to the discretion of a judge.
Whoa, wait a minute. That's not Democratic policy.
Wait.
You're going to blame. Now, if a judge releases him like a judge released Guy Rivera, you admit that's not a Democratic policy. That's a judge.
Mr. Weiner, no cash bail is a Democratic policy. What? I mean, come on, man.
Cash bail has nothing to do with whether someone was held or not held after they were convicted. That has nothing to do with that.
No, you're spinning.
Nobody.
Excuse me.
This guy was
spinning to put the conviction on it. That right. I'm going to say scumbag for the third time, and I may say scumbag for the rest of my life.
Use whatever names you want.
Would still be in jail if not for your Democratic friends.
I know.
Giving him a free pass to get out of jail.
You just admitted it was the judge. You just said it was the judge. That's not my Democratic friends. That's a judge.
That officer would be alive out with his son on this day having a good time rather than the fate that he has.
Guy Rivera should never have been walking the street.
Well, I'm glad that you're admitting it now.
It's not admitted. I said at the very top.
I'm glad you're admitting
and I said
it
again. Now, you want to politic and point blame and stay as Democrat, and you have not. No cash bail. Saying that 15 times has nothing to do with this case. Do you have anything you want to say before we move to the next subject?
It does.
All right, what does no cash bail have to do with this case?
I guarantee you, if we look at his record, we can find a recent arrest.
Violent felonies don't have anything to do with no cash bail. You know that.
We could find a recent arrest where this animal was let go and he should have been held in jail.
But not under no cash bail. Not for bail.
Okay. So you want to play this game.
I'm going to say that people get convicted of crimes. They sent away for a certain amount by a jury, and then they get released. I'm going to say that happens all the time. Yelling no cash bail, Democratic policy over and over again does not make it part of this case. It's irresponsible to say that because then you don't get to fix the real problem.
Mr. Weiner, I know you're not talking about the real problem with what Democrats did. It's disgusting what the President of the United States did.
All right. Well, I think I'm glad Donald Trump went. He's a private citizen. I'm glad he went. I wish he wouldn't have fundraised off it while he was on the way there. I wish he would not be so soft on crime when it comes to January 6th. Why does he want to defund the FBI?
Why does Trump have to fundraise? Why?
Well, that's a good question. He said he was going to self-fund his campaign. Why did you answer that question for me?
He has to raise money.
Why? He said he was going to fund it himself. That's one of the reasons he said to elect him. He wouldn't have to turn to fundraising. So he lied about that, didn't he?
Last week you said, Donald Trump is not worth what he says he's worth, right? That was.
Well, we're going to get to his cases. Is that where you want to go?
No.
But Donald Trump is a billionaire, I thought. Why does he have to fundraise off the death of a police officer?
Well, you do know that his legal bills are.
Oh, but it's shameful to fundraise off the death of a police.
I know you're not going to talk about shameful.
Let me ask you, do you agree with that? Let's find out.
When the man is looking at 4 trumped-up cases, and you're talking about shameful?
No. I'm talking about fundraising off the death of Jonathan Diller. You shouldn't do that, should you?
Okay, about. Do me a favor. No. Do me a favor.
Shouldn't do that, Dominic.
Do me a favor. Do me a small favor. If Trump does something wrong, I'll call it out.
Will you now? Calling heroes, people that attack cops on January 6th. Why don't you start there?
Let me just finish, please. Will you call out Biden for what he did at Radio City Music Hall?
He held a fundraiser? I'm sorry. That unfortunately happens in politics all the time. Fundraisers happen.
You don't think that he should have canceled the fundraiser?
I don't think you should cancel a fundraiser. As tragic as a police officer's death, are you going to cancel fundraisers and events and political events every time? As I said, in 2019, under Trump, 171 police officers died in the line of duty. I don't remember Donald Trump even mentioning them.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's just opportunism. Let's face it.
No. Okay, so what do you call what Biden did?
Well, Biden had a previously scheduled thing. He kept on with the schedule of the president. I'm sorry. Yes, there are fundraisers all over the country. All kinds of things happen that weren't canceled.
Listen, Ambassador Weiner, you did a good job. You stayed with the Democratic line no matter what.
No, I think that it is a horrible. I began this thing without even mentioning Republicans, without mentioning Trump, by saying that Jonathan Diller's death was tragic. We should hope that if that guy killed him, he should go to jail for the rest of his life, never see the light of day. And then you said Democratic policies couldn't come up with one for the 5th week in a row, and now are pointing to Donald Trump, who fundraised off the death of this poor guy.
Mr. Weiner, the words of showing sympathy for this officer from Democrats are not just only empty words, they are a slap in the face to his family and to every member of law enforcement. Don't believe me? Ask the members of law enforcement what they feel about Democrats.
And that'll be the last word on this subject. After the break, we'll come back even more havoc going on the subways in New York City. Dominic Carter on the right, Anthony Weiner on the left. We'll be right back. So welcome back to Left versus Right. Anthony Weiner on the left, Dominic Carter on the right. You know, Dominic, we're starting to do this just about every week. Every week, it seems like people are tuning in more and more of it. I've said publicly on my show, I don't think it's that great. But then again, I'm my own tough critic. But it seems like it's getting a great feedback. Are you getting good feedback from your listeners?
Getting great feedback. Biden should apologize for what he did on this officer's weight.
I do a puff small talk for Dominic, and you hammer me.
No. I'm not hammering you. I am saying that this officer, again, as you know, Mr. Weiner, I just heard your show. This officer, his funeral was just today.
Yeah.
And this officer's dead. He's never coming back.
I hear you, Dominic. I gave you the last word, and let's move on to some other subjects.
I know that's not important. That's not important.
Dominic, now you're not being fair. I tossed it to you to talk about the feedback you got.
Democrats, you want to talk about everything. All you want to do is pander to the black community. Kumbaya, kumbaya, black community, vote for me, Democrats, yeah.
All right, now you're trying to make me look bad.
No, I'm not trying to make you look bad.
Dominic, now I'm gonna have to put you in your place.
Go ahead.
I came back from a break.
I don't think that's possible.
Dominic, I came back from a break after we wrapped up a subject and threw it to you to talk about the great feedback we're getting, and you want to reopen the subject. I'm pleased to do that.
Never put me in my place.
I am pleased to do that. However, if you think by me tossing it to you to talk about feedback on our show is somehow dodging the issue, if you want to do another hour talking about this one subject, I will tear up our run list and we won't do it.
You know what? That's a great idea.
Okay.
Let's focus.
Fine.
No.
Fine.
There you go.
So let's do it. We were going to talk about subways. I guess you don't want to talk about subways. You don't want to talk about Donald Trump in the trials. All you want to talk about. If you want to do it, fine. If you want to get fine,
camera.
I'm ready.
We
Go.
are on camera.
Go.
We are on
All right,
camera.
let's talk about the January 6th heroes that Donald Trump said.
Here we go.
You
January
beat up
6th.
police officers,
Here we
and
go,
Donald Trump is
January
your hero
6th.
for that. Donald Trump is a scum for commending those police officers. Those police officers got beaten up.
Okay, I thought you said we would talk about this NYPD
No. Hold on a second. You don't get to decide when your guy's a hero for fundraising after the death of a cop. He calls heroes to January 6th who beat up police officers. I have never seen a more disgusting thing than that. He says he's going to pardon the people. Do you think that's right, to pardon someone who beat up a cop?
I think that we should stick to the issue at hand.
No, it's too late, pal. You decided to tear up the run list. Now you got it coming. Let's go. January 6th.
Let's do it.
January 6th.
Okay, but
are they heroes, the people that beat up cops?
Can we do Officer Della first?
Beat up cops, are they heroes? What Donald Trump says?
Okay.
Donald Trump opens all his rallies by saying, let's think about the heroes that are the J6 hostages, the people that beat up cops.
No, that's not what Donald Trump means.
Oh, really? What does Donald Trump mean when he says that?
What Donald Trump means is that the people, I guess what he calls the patriots,
the hostages that beat up cops, and you're supporting them. You are so in the tank.
Right. No,
so in the tank.
I'm in the tank.
Republican talking points. Republican talking points.
No. What about this officer and his family?
Wait, hold on. No, you don't get away now.
Okay,
January 6th. Are they hostages for beating up cops?
Okay. Officer.
We had a chance. You had a chance to get out from the hammer, and you chose not to.
I had a chance. That's laughable.
That's right. We had the rundown. Now it's torn up over there.
Right.
January 6th.
First of all,
they beat up cops, and you call them heroes.
You do know we're on video.
You call people that beat up cops heroes. That's disgusting.
So you don't want to focus on Officer Della.
You don't want to focus on the fact that you're Republican talking about defending your cult leader. Stop defending your cult leader. Stop defending your cult leader who calls someone who beats up cops heroes. That's a cult that you're in, Dominic. Break free of it.
And so what is it that what Democrats are in when Biden is just pandering to the black community?
When someone beats up a cop on January 6th, we say put him in jail. What do you say?
Okay. No.
What do you say? Don't pick a cop and say I want to blame Joe Biden.
Okay.
January 6th, Donald Trump stood up at a rally and start every single rally with the Pledge of Allegiance dedicated to the January 6th hostages.
Right.
You know what those hostages did? Those hostages beat up cops.
Okay. All right. So
you're fine. All right. No, that's not all right, Dominic. That is not all right. Say that to the camera that's all right. That is not all right. That's disgusting.
No, notice you won't focus on
That's disgusting. We did the whole first segment about that. Now we're going to do soft on crime Republican talking points.
No.
Soft on crime Republican cult leader.
Wait. Can you please?
You had a chance, Dominic.
Can you please address the women that are walking down the street being punched in the face in New York
suddenly
City?
you care about women, but women don't have a right to choose. Women don't have a right to get IVF. Women don't have.
The only reason why Democrats care about women is because it's a talking point for an election.
I care about women except when it comes to their reproductive freedom.
Can you focus on the issue at hand?
You brought up women, Dominic. Let's talk about women in this country.
Notice you won't focus on the real issue.
Your cult doesn't want the women in this country to have a right to choose, do they?
Okay, Mr. Weiner.
Oh, it's not a real issue?
The women that are being punched in the face.
Choice is not a real issue?
Randomly punched in the face in New York City. Can you address that?
Choice is not a real issue? Is that what you just said?
So, Mr. Weiner,
you suddenly care about women. I just want to make sure.
Weiner, I'll address anything you want to.
No, you ducked January 6th. Let's get back to that.
Mr. Weiner, address the man that's pushed in front of the train.
You ducked January. We're not going back to the run now that you're getting your butt kicked. We're not going to go back to that. We're going to stick with this.
Mr. Weiner,
January 6th.
Mr. Weiner. Number one, I am not quote unquote getting my butt kicked. I am standing here. We are having a conversation.
No, January 6th. You ducked it. You don't talk about it.
No.
Cops getting brutalized.
It's not that I ducked.
Then talk about it.
I want to focus on Jonathan Della.
That's called ducking. Everyone sees ducking when they see it. And we can watch. We're watching you duck.
Okay, so
January 6th.
Okay.
If you beat up a cop on
Wait. So how does January 6th come out of nowhere now?
Because you talked about Democratic talking points,
right?
And one of the Republican talking points is that your cult leader is tough on crime. He supports giving pardons to people that beat up cops. You're against that, aren't you? Just say, Dominic, I'm against that.
If Mr. Trump...
Say I'm against it.
Okay, listen. Okay, let me show you the difference between yourself and myself. if someone was convicted by the feds,
They were.
right. Let me just finish, please. If they were convicted by the feds, and it's clearly demonstrated,
1,500.
Let me finish that they did something wrong.
They beat up cops.
The not all of the people.
Stop hemming and hawing.
No.
You should not get pardoned for beating up a cop on January 6th.
Okay.
Just say that.
Mr. Weiner, did all the people beat up police officers?
All the people? No. Let's talk about the ones that beat up cops. That's the one we're talking about.
Let's talk about Officer Diller.
We just did a whole segment of Diller. You want to say tough on crime, Republicans, and I'm telling you, you couldn't bring yourself to say it right now.
Okay, so
beating up a cop, you should not be pardoned. Say it.
Beating up a police officer, you should not be.
That's right. And your cult leader believes they should. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about tough on crime Trump now?
You asked me.
I'm not done asking questions. How do you feel about tough on crime Trump now?
I think he's much tougher on crime than Joe Biden.
Oh, really? Has Joe Biden ever pardoned someone to beat up a cop? Ever?
Ask the American people. The polling is clear.
Donald Trump.
Who's better on crime?
We asked the American people. They voted for Joe Biden. Suck it.
No. Joe Biden hid in his basement during the campaign.
Oh, the American people are too stupid? They couldn't figure it out?
No.
They saw it happen, by the way.
You know that the election was a referendum on Trump, just like this election.
It sure was. And he got his ass kicked.
No.
Sure was, and he got his ass kicked.
No.
And we're going to have another referendum on Trump, and he's going to get his ass kicked again. Because he's a cult leader that believes beating up cops, you should get a pardon. That's outrageous. That's disgusting.
So, Mr. Weiner, as you mentioned,
we could have done the runoff, Dominic. You had your chance. We agreed on a rundown of issues. I put a softball to you to talk about our audience, and you take a run at me. And now you got to pay.
No. I'm going to pay. How am I going to pay?
You're getting beaten like a rented mule. Come on, bring it on.
I don't think so. Well, because what you're doing.
Let's talk about defunding the FBI. Are you in favor of that?
Excuse me.
Hey, Republican talking points. Defund the FBI?
Officer Diller.
We did. We did that for a whole segment.
As you mentioned in your show.
Should we defund the FBI?
As you rightly mentioned in your show, this man, his funeral was just
Should we defund the FBI, Dominic?
And you are going back to these crazy Democratic
No, I'm doing the Republican talking points is defund the FBI. That's your talking point.
No.
That's what your cult leader says.
So what about Mr. Weiner? I'm going to return to the women that are being punched in the face.
Oh, let's talk about women's rights. Let's talk about the rights of women.
Can you address the women being punched in the face? Let's talk about the rights of women.
Who took away a woman's right to choose?
Here we go. Can you focus, please?
Who took away a woman's right to choose?
Focus,
I'm focusing on women's rights.
No, in other words, so those women don't count.
I'm focusing on women's rights.
They don't count?
Hey, listen, they 100% count. They should have a right to get health care, don't they? Should they get a right to get health care when they're attacked?
Wait.
I'm curious.
Wait. Can you address what's happening to them?
Should they get a right?
Weiner,
I'm addressing it right now.
No. What you're trying to do is
point out hypocrisy.
No. You're trying to ease back to abortion.
Point out hypocrisy.
Because that's one of the only
when Republicans say they care about women, I just have to laugh.
Can you address the women that have been punched in the face?
Do Republicans care about women?
Can you address that,
I am,
please?
right now.
No.
Okay.
You're not addressing it.
You're right. I was putting in the form of a question. Whenever you, my listener, my viewer on YouTube, by the way, this is being put out on YouTube. Whenever you hear a Republican talk about how they care for women, remember, only one time in American history have we lost a set of rights, and it was only women, and it was a right to reproductive freedom. And the Republicans did it. The Republicans should be held responsible for it. So if you're a woman or knows a woman, you should scoff at the idea that Republicans care about you. When all they care about is taking away their rights to return back to the 1950s. They want to go back in this country. Go ahead, Dominic. Tell me about how you care about women.
Now, I just listened to you, so let me do my little spin speech the way you just did. As people continue to get attacked in New York City, to die being pushed in front of subway trains, women walking up and down the street, predominantly white women, the suspects predominantly African American, as you continue to get punched in the face and your jaw shattered, you will continue to hear crap about other issues because Democrats know. See, I
wait,
let
women's health care?
I let you finish.
Yeah, but you went too far off the rails.
Okay,
but you can't call women's health crap.
So
you call women's health crap, someone's going to stop you in your tracks.
I let you finish. So you will continue to hear crap from Democrats about anything else except for crime. Why?
If you care about women.
Why? Because the only thing they care about is Black Lives Matter. Turn out the black vote. That's all. Can you deny it?
Yeah.
Can you deny it?
I'm going to deny that you give a crap about women when you don't want their, and when your cult leader, by the way, let's talk about violence against women and your cult leader, Donald Trump. So you think he's against violence against women? Wasn't he found liable in a court for committing violence against a woman?
Let's not go back there. You know what I'm going to say.
Oh, well, listen.
You
don't want to do the rundown. This is what you're going to get.
It was done by one judge that had an agenda.
No, jury. It was a jury, pal. Catch up.
No, you're right. You're right on that one. I'm trying to figure out what.
By the way, saying I'm right is redundant, but go ahead.
Okay, no, it's not redundant because you're rarely correct. So it's
does your cult leader believe in all you say about violence against women?
Well, you know what?
Apparently not, because apparently he's been found guilty of a jury of his peers of committing acts of violence against women.
Okay, so you're referring to the leading candidate in the race for the White House, not the leading Republican candidate.
Your cult leader.
You're calling him a cult leader.
I'm sorry, your cult leader. It's not my cult leader. I'm not a member of that cult.
Okay, so if he's a cult leader, if Trump is a cult leader, what is Biden for all of his
president of the United States for beating Trump like a rented mule, and he's going to do it again?
What is Mr. Biden for all of his pandering and for all of his gaffes?
He's the president of the United States, and he beat loser Donald Trump. Any other questions?
Okay. First of all, one election. We'll see.
Oh, okay. One election. I want a rematch. Well, he's going to get a rematch.
Right.
And he got beaten like a rented mule last time.
Okay.
He's a loser, your guy.
So,
he loses in courts.
Okay.
He loses it. He's got 6 bankruptcies. He's got fraud cases against him. He's a loser.
So why was Clinton and Obama on stage with Biden the other night?
Because we wanted to highlight the fact that if you want a better country, just look back at the amazing times we've had with Democrats.
So they weren't there to hold him up and prop him up.
They're here to raise $25 million as opposed to your guy who owes $500 million or whatever it is because he keeps committing crimes.
Notice, folks, we've been doing this. We're now in the second of 3 segments.
You could have stuck to the rundown. I warned you. I warned you.
Mr. Weiner still won't address the officer. He won't address.
We did a whole segment on it. We did a whole segment. We had agreed on a rundown of issues, and I said when we come back we're going to do other issues, and you said no, you want to stick with this one, and now you're bleeding from the face and ears, and now you want to change it again.
No, not at all. You know what what's really.
What, you want to go to more crimes?
No, wait, listen.
You want to go to more crimes committed by Donald Trump?
No, you know what's really going on inside my head right now? Compassion for New Yorkers that are hurting. And you're sitting up here, and you're sitting up here with this garbage.
Compassion for for women who want to get IVF to expand their families.
Here we go.
Do you have compassion for them? The Republicans don't seem to.
Here we go. Focus.
People want to put in the law that life begins at conception.
Okay,
if you do that, then you can't get IVF.
You know what? I have no problem, none, discussing abortion or any other issue. But what's relevant right now?
It's relevant all the time. Women's health is always relevant,
What's
Dominic.
relevant? Notice you haven't said not one word about about the women being punched in the face.
You said women's health is not relevant.
Can you just address that, please?
Here's what I will say. I care about women's health all the time.
So you won't address it?
I care about women's health all the time.
Listen, you're so wrapped up. You don't see the cue we're getting to toss to the break.
You didn't want to stick to the rundown. This is what happens. Anthony Weiner on the left, Dominic Carter on the right. We'll be right back. So welcome back to Left versus Right. Anthony Weiner on the left, Dominic Carter on the right. Catch up with Dominic show every weekday from 12 to 1. One of the best shows we have on 77 WABC. Also Dominic TV.
Have you calmed down?
At Dominic TV. Here's what we got to, when we come back from the break, I do a little what we call kind of an appetizer. Right. I update a little bit. So let me continue doing that.
Okay.
Also, if you want to get any of this show in the form of a podcast, you can do that at the Red Apple Podcast Network or anywhere you download podcasts. And another thing that you can do, it doesn't come out right away. Some people have said, do you live stream on YouTube? We're a radio station. We don't live stream on YouTube, but we do put it out. So you can tune in that. Usually that comes out about Wednesday or so. So feel free to check that out.
So now am I allowed to say something?
You can. Now I usually throw it to you and say something small talky like, so are you getting a good reaction to the show from your listeners?
Great reaction. I want to know, since you ripped up the rundown and threw the script off to the side when we're on camera, and you know we're on camera, I want to know, have you calmed down because you're getting your butt whipped and because you don't have any answer for how the Democrats are ruining America?
Listen, I actually do have answers for anything that you want. If you want,
so women being punched in the face.
I got to tell you something. Here's what we can do anytime you want, Dominic. Anytime you want.
Okay.
We can
Here
have
go.
no. We can have no.
Blah blah.
We could
blah,
have no.
Blah blah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Blah 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 means talking. We're at a radio show, so someone's got to talk.
Okay.
So you say you want to talk about subject. I will talk about any subject that you want. However, what I won't tolerate hypocrisy. And Republicans are guilty of hypocrisy. We care about cops, but not cops on January 6th. We care about cops, but we want to defund the FBI. We care about women, but we don't want them getting punched by a TikToker, but we're totally fine with having them not allowed to get IVF. So that's hypocrisy. You have the party of hypocrisy. Republican talking points are hypocrisy.
We got that. You said that over and over and over. Now,
that was a good summary, I thought.
Now can you address women being attacked in New York City? People are walking up to them, males, and just punching them in the face.
Women are being attacked in this country every day.
No, can you focus on this one issue?
I am.
You're going to the... Go ahead.
I am.
Go ahead.
Women are being attacked in this country all the time. They're being attacked by illegal handguns. They're being attacked by abusive spouses. They're being attacked by random people on the street. But they're also being attacked by your Republican friends who want to take away the right to the most basic thing, IVF.
So you're not gonna address it.
I was in the middle of talking, so I think I was addressing
because you want to give this big, broad abortion speech.
I want to show you hypocrisy. I want to demonstrate hypocrisy.
You can do hypocrisy.
Your Republican talking points have reached their end right here because they're going to get busted now.
No.
Yeah, Republican talking points. We care about women getting punched in the face, but we're banning them from getting IVF.
Can you just address what's going on?
Okay. By the way, any other rights you want to take away from women?
Can you address what's going on?
I want to know if you're going to stop there. Maybe Donald Trump wins a second term. What rights are you going to take away then?
Can you address what's going on?
Democrats believe in women getting health care. What about you? Oh, by the way, I understand that. I understand the Republicans are also in favor of eliminating the Affordable Care Act so they can't get regular health care, let alone reproductive health care. What is that about? Why don't you guys like health care for Americans? What's the Republican talking point? Overturn the Affordable Care Act? Overturn Obamacare? I'm sorry. Let me see if I still hear that. And no, I don't hear that anymore. That's a Democratic policy. The Republican talking point is to take it away from you.
So I'm going to try for the last time. Are you going to address the issue? Yes or no?
I hope anyone attacked gets health care. They're not going to be able to if Republicans take over.
No.
Republicans are against. Why don't you like health care for women,
Mr.
Dominic?
Weiner, I'm not talking about abortion.
Why? Why aren't you?
Alabama.
Why aren't you?
What I'm talking about is what's happening. So I hope the audience can see and hear.
Why aren't you, though?
No matter what I say, Mr. Weiner will not respond
Dominic,
to the issue.
Why aren't you talking about abortion? I'm curious.
We talked about that a few.
No, you keep saying you don't want to. You say Democrats want to talk about it, but you never say why you don't want to talk about it.
Okay. Now notice you're not
Why
answering
don't you?
anything that I've put to you.
I didn't even answer.
But
I didn't even. By the way, none of this was on the rundown. But Dominic said tear up the rundown because he wanted to get beaten up on abortion.
No. You said
it wasn't. Abortion's not even on our rundown. By the way,
you said, "Do you want me to tear up the rundown?" And I said, "Tear it up."
There you go.
And then
I gave you control.
And
now the issues
you never give me control.
Now it's women's rights.
You never give me control.
Now it's women's health care? Let's talk about it.
You never give me control. Every week you give an issue that's one-sided in the spin in the way you present it. You never give me a fair issue.
All I can do.
And so listen, you're in a
Harry
bad
Truman.
position.
Like Harry Truman. Harry Truman, they used to say, give him hell, Harry. Harry just said, I just tell him the truth. It sounds like hell to them.
Right.
What you're hearing is it sounds like hell to Dominic.
No, it doesn't. I feel bad for Democrats. I really do.
Really?
I really do.
It's tough having... Because
the way Democrats are pandering, it's not the party that I remember.
Oh, pandering. Let's talk about your cult leader, Donald Trump. He shows up. He shows up in New York and tries to claim that he's tough on crime when this guy panders by calling January 6th cop beaters heroes. And by the way, you, Dominic, can't look into the camera and say how disgusting that is.
I just told you.
It's disgusting, isn't it? Your guy's disgusting, isn't he?
Wait. Didn't I just say?
No, you couldn't bring yourself quite to do it.
Okay, wait. What? See, I'm going to show you the difference between me and you.
1,500 people have been found.
Okay.
Let me just finish.
What is it you want me to say?
I'm about to do it.
Okay.
1,500 have been found guilty of their actions on that day.
All right.
Dozens of them guilty of crimes against police officers. We saw with our own eyes police officers being beaten with flags and Donald Trump banners.
Okay.
And now your cult leader, Donald Trump, says those people are hostages and he's going to pardon them. That's disgusting, isn't it?
What Mr. Trump is referring to, what he's referring to.
What is he referring to when he talks about heroes?
It happens to be individuals that have been sentenced in which the sentence was not fair, and in some of the cases.
Oh, I see. So Donald Trump and Dominic Carter, you think that Dominic Carter and Donald Trump, not a jury, not the criminal justice, so you're the soft on crime people, because that's the way we. So hold on, wait a minute. I just realized something. This is the ultimate hypocrisy. We should throw away the key, except when it's our guys.
Mr. Weiner, you could
outrageous.
You could talk into.
That's disgusting.
You could talk until you're blue in the face. You cannot change what happened in New York on Monday. You cannot.
Wait a minute. Donald Trump and Dominic Carter say we shouldn't put people in jail.
You cannot change. You could talk until you're blue in the face. You cannot change this nut job throwing hot scalding water on people. You cannot change. You cannot change these women that are being punched in the face. You could talk until you and those. That's all
the
because
Republicans
of soft on crime Democrats. Now you could talk forever, but you can't get away from that.
Really? Okay. Well, let's see. You just got done saying that Donald Trump and Dominic Carter know better than the criminal justice system. So why do you want to put people in the criminal justice system then?
That's what you said. That's what you said.
You said what Donald Trump meant is the people who are unfairly.
Hold on. You know we can play back the tape.
Totally. Dominic Carter said what Donald Trump meant by the heroes and the hostages or the people that got unfair sentences, and Dominic Carter said he agrees. Okay, so Donald Carter and Donald Trump, his cult leader, believe they know better, right? So it's not that's the problem. You want to talk about pandering? Pandering is saying people who've been convicted and are in prison should be let free because your cult leader believes it's the right thing. No, here's what Democrats think: that those people who committed crimes should be in jail. Just say that sentence.
Anybody that committed a crime,
should be in jail.
Should be in jail,
and they should not be pardoned, right?
And should not be pardoned.
Correct.
If they committed a crime,
right?
Now,
as determined by the criminal justice system.
Now, address the women that have been punched in the face.
Wait a minute. If they committed a crime, you can't be pardoned if you didn't commit.
See the game.
You didn't.
I just said what he wanted me to say.
No, you said at the end if they committed a crime.
Now you tell the truth and address the women that have been punched in the face.
How can you be pardoned if you didn't commit a crime?
Okay, well, you're not going to say a single word about that.
I'm just curious what you mean. How can they be pardoned if they didn't commit a crime?
Mr. Weiner, you're not going to say anything about
how can you be pardoned if you didn't commit a crime?
You do realize, God forbid, that you or I could be related to one of those women that have been attacked.
Oh, who died getting a hanger abortion, or who can't get IVF so a child can't be born into this world, to a family that desperately wants one? I think we all know someone like that, frankly.
Mr. Weiner, I'm referring to the women that have been sucker punched in the face.
What about women who have been sexually abused by the candidate of your party? What about that one? I don't hear you talking about that one.
You said women. What do you mean?
Oh, should I do the list?
Yeah,
sure, I'll be glad to do the list. What about the 20-some-odd women who say that they were sexually abused by him?
I do believe Mr. Biden faces the same allegation.
No. Absolutely.
Yeah, he does. There are several women. I know you're not serious right now.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
There are several women that have alleged that Mr. Biden crossed the line. Come on now.
Okay. So
you know that, and I know
that. I agree. Let's just focus on the one that a jury found.
You were giving me a list of women as it relates to Trump. So give me the list.
Right. So the one that's most recently in the news. Disgusting, isn't it?
Which one is that one?
E. Jean Carroll.
Yeah. Miss Wee.
Oh, so you don't believe that jury either? So Mr. Tough on Crime doesn't believe that sexual abuse should go
Anderson,
away? Should they?
You know, Anderson.
Let me ask you something, Dominic. Should people commit?
Sexy, Anderson.
Oh, look at this, defending a sexual abuser.
Anderson.
That's what your cult is all about right now.
Anderson.
Defending and nominating a sexual abuser.
Anderson, you're sexy. You know, rape can be romantic. I'm giving you her own words back to you. So if I were you, I would not use her as an example. So who else?
So she deserves it?
Who else? Who else?
So she deserves it?
Nobody deserves that.
Of course not.
That's a loaded question.
And it's
who
disgusting.
Else?
You should nominate a president who is found guilty of sexual abuse.
The American
You couldn't find anyone else.
You said you had a long list of women.
You couldn't find.
You said, Mr. Weiner, there's a long list of women. Even if you don't recall their names,
by the way,
tell me.
Donald Trump believes that you should be able to grab women by their private parts?
You know, Mr. Weiner, he was engaging in locker room
Don't apologize. Please, Dominic,
Mr. Weiner,
do not
Mr.
defend
Weiner,
it.
Mr. Weiner,
Just don't
Mr.
do
Weiner.
it. Don't do it.
Listen, I'm not a phony. I haven't done it to that degree, but you know damn well every man in America has engaged in talk like that, and you know that's true.
Is this the best you can do?
Is it true or not? Has every man in America, maybe not to that degree, has every man in America that played sports, you, many others.
Should someone who talks like that be president?
Should someone who
talks like that and commits sexual violence against women be president?
Absolutely. You know why? Because at least he'll be tough on crime.
Really?
Yeah. At least
will he be tough on crime now?
At least we won't have what's happening in American cities
He'll be tough on crime, huh?
So
that's your defense of having someone that talks about grabbing women by their private parts, and also who's been found guilty by a jury of sexually abusing a woman.
Okay, so
you
Mr.
think that's
Weiner,
being tough on crime? That's called being a criminal, actually.
Okay,
and by the way, isn't he have 91 indictments for being a criminal himself? Wait a minute, we forgot that he's under 90. Oh no, it's down to the 80s now. A few for the Georgia ones. He's had 80-something criminal indictments against him. A criminally indicted guy running for president, who, by the way, is standing trial on April 15th. This was on the rundown, if you would have let me stick to it. April 15th for a crime in New York State.
Now, are you willing to
this
admit,
is the best you can do, your guys?
Are you willing to admit that Bragg's case is shaky at best?
Well, we're gonna find out.
No. Are you willing to?
I'm about to answer the question.
No, you're going to do Weiner talk.
I'm going to answer the question.
Go ahead.
I believe in the criminal justice system. He's been arrested, arraigned, and we're gonna have a jury trial. I'm not on the jury. I don't judge it in advance.
What I asked you a real simple question. You know this case is
let me hear the evidence. Let me hear the evidence. The indictment looks pretty strong, but let me hear the evidence. I believe the guy's innocent until proven guilty. Totally. He's now guilty of sexually violating a woman. Guilty. I believe in the criminal justice system. I don't believe in you saying I'm going to pardon people if they did the crime. I don't even know what that means. I don't believe in calling people who committed crimes, pardoning them when the crime they committed was beating up police officers. I don't believe in that because I'm a Democrat. I'm tough on crime. You follow a cult.
Wait. So you're a Democrat. Wait. Just let me finish this.
You need to catch up. I don't blame you. I'm going a little fast for you.
I don't need to catch up. I've been slowing down for 5 weeks for you. But let me just say this to you, Mr. Weiner. So you're tough on crime as a Democrat. In a week that we had a cop.
How many indictments does Trump face? I'm curious.
So you're not going to let me finish.
Nah, you're talking about something different. I'm not going to let you do it. We already did that subject.
You keep saying like a broken record.
We were talking about Donald Trump. You support a criminal for president. Period.
Oh, and your guy is not allegations of criminal behavior?
You're crazy. Your crazy conspiracy theorists can come up with whatever you want. This guy's been convicted of a jury, and you keep saying the criminal justice system is what you worship at. How you believe people should be arrested.
The one thing I have never brought up is Hunter Biden.
Oh, I'm an expert on Hunter Biden. You bring it on. What do you got on Hunter Biden?
No. You know,
Hunter Biden's not the member of any administration that I know. But if you want to talk about Hunter Biden taking advantage of his father being in office, 100% he did. But tell me about what Ivanka did. Tell me what Jared Kushner, who got $2 billion of blood money from the Saudis. I'm listening. Dominic, don't bring up subjects like that when you're just going to get hammered on them.
No.
You have
Mr. Weiner,
you have a party of hypocrisy.
Mr. Weiner, I like you. You're not as smart as you think you are. Trust me.
Well, that's probably true because I think I'm very smart.
No, you do. Now, your mother's very smart. Your son is very smart. Your whatever is very smart, but you're not. You think that you're the brightest bulb in the bunch.
The Hunter Biden subject didn't go well for you. You want to rethink it?
No. We gotta. If I'm back next week, all right. If I'm back next week,
I don't think either one of us is
Hunter Biden. And maybe by next week you'll discuss crime. Maybe by next week you'll talk about what happened to these women, and what happened to the police officer, and what happened to the man that's no longer with us because a mentally ill person pushed him in front of a train.
I will for sure.
Maybe you'll discuss.
I will for sure talk about Republican hypocrisy on crime. I'm Anthony Weiner on the left, Dominic Carter on the right. We'll see you next week if we live to see it.